it is sometimes hard to watch your stuff that you've written and transferred wrong to the screen by someone else. It is a difficult thing to write a scene and have someone else direct it, unless you're so departed from the material that you can stand back and not feel it.
I got it. Hang on. Come over here, guys. A little closer, please. A little closer. Okay, now roll camera. The character research at this step in the game in pre-production, I think really ties into the specifics. Character study was done prior in development, but that was really fleshing out the characters. Now, at this point in the game, it's really about what are the specifics of this character. What would they be wearing? What kind of hairstyle would they have? And it's really down to the specifics of really sculpting out who these characters are.
It's a good idea to have a good sense of communication between writer and director. Most of the writers will not be asked to be on set. Again, their duties are stopped by the time pre-production starts. And a lot of that is because the director needs to take this time to make this film his own and not be encumbered by trying to achieve someone else's vision. It's now the director's vision. The writer will never be asked by the wardrobe person, well, what do you think about this wardrobe, that sort of thing. No, they're going to go to the director. It's the director's vision from this point forward.
That's much better. Where? Pakistan. Where in Pakistan? What good is it now? It's been printed. It's moving on.
Okay. What does it matter now? I was going to say, but what good is it now? What does it matter now? Which one is more regular?
And trying to create these characters from a director's perspective, it's often a good exercise for a director to read the screenplay, and even though the writer has made a bio about their characters that they've been writing for months, and no one ever saw these bios, it's not a bad idea for the director now to spend some time and write his own bios about what he thinks these characters should be like.
Okay, this is the punchline to your whole reason for doing it, you know, and it's kind of funny to you know. It's like
that one is pretty recent, don't you think?
They weren't supposed to print that for another week.
And it's good because of this reason. It's important to understand what Josh is going through in the film, but it's also important to understand what he was going through when he was a member of the CIA and didn't like his job. What didn't he like about it? And this isn't written in the screenplay, but it's important for the director to know this, because when the director's talking to the actor, he now has a whole bunch of information that he can now give to the actor to help the actor in his performance.
But it's doing my homework, which is the research, what it means to me to be abducted, to be taken beyond, outside of my will and by force, not knowing what's going to happen. I'm in the dark, I have no clue who these people are or why they want me. That's not unfamiliar to a lot of people. I mean, even if it's for a brief moment, and we kind of sometimes that happens, you know.
we'll see a glowing ember. So the same thing is with you. Right. You can't see any noise that you hear. You're a little, you know, there's a bit of some struggle going on here. Okay. Each of these characters are pretty unique from one another. The one that comes to mind is the interrogator. The cliche character would be a CIA agent, tough, you know, interrogating this guy, this character, because it was, you know, the CIA interrogating him. But we decided to paint that character a little bit differently and made him a bit more ethnical. And, you know, he was from Turkey or he was from Afghanistan. It doesn't really say in the film, but we made a choice to paint that character completely different than what's the stereotype. So it's really that kind of that character sketch that now as you're in pre-production, you really start to mold who these characters are, because you're gonna be casting these characters, and then you're gonna be dressing these characters. You're gonna be cutting their hair, and you're gonna really kind of mold them for the camera.
So it's always a good idea to do your research as a director. Tell more story than what's on the page.